All right, we're here with head coach John Cooper for our weekly press conference. Coach, obviously last week with the win over Central Michigan, how do you think that'll help with the momentum as we go into this final stretch with 4 or 6 on the road?
Well, I mean, I think anytime you win a game, it certainly gives you confidence. You look at that game and the firepower that Central Michigan brings to every game offensively. Really, sort of sets you back when you sit and watch them play on film. And the amount of threes that they take, and certainly with Race, and then of course Keene, they pose challenges in itself. But for our group to be able to bounce back from a performance there against Western in the second half, which was, for whatever reason, we just seemed to lose our energy or whatever it was. It just was not a very fluid effort in the second half on our part. And quite frankly, this group could easily have tucked their tails coming into this game against Central Michigan. And I thought we had pretty doggone good energy the entire game. And, of course, Central started off very well in the game. And so, you look at those things and take the positives from that and the group playing together, which I thought they played probably their most unselfish game overall. I think those are things that you can all take forward as you head down the stretch here, and with us starting on the road, we've got a tough start to it going to Kent, so we've got to be ready to play. And they're coming off a loss, so I'm sure they're going to be amped up also.
So last week also, Deion Wade went down with an injury during warm-ups against Western Michigan. What does that do for your guard rotation, and how do you help with how do you expect other players to step up in his absence?
Well, I would tell you this: the past couple of seasons have been interesting. Just injuries alone. It seems like we lead the country in injuries, odd injuries. We've lost guys for the season. So when you look at what we've lost 3 guys for the season now who 3 kids that we expected to be very productive for us and to really help us out. And losing Zach, of course, Dion, and then, of course, we lost Precious early in the year before the season started, who, quite frankly, was our best rebounder in practice at that time. I don't think there was any question about that. So I think, you have to go with the term next man up. And that's what it is for us. And in this case, we're a very young team, so there's some young guys that are getting some experience that I think is going to help going forward and in the future, and allows them to build confidence. I think when you look at what Milos has done here the last stretch of games, I think it's really helped him, starting with the Bowling Green game and his confidence, and watching him in the game here on Saturday, and just how he's playing and looks solid and understands what's going on. So I think those are all things that help. And the next one up is probably Bruno, although he's out. He was sick, so I don't know if we've got him or not either. So, it continues to go, and the next guy's got to be ready. Or either the starters just have to play more extended minutes.
So this week is, with that stretch beginning, is 2 road games this week. First up is Kent State. Just played them 10 days ago. So what can we expect in this rematch?
Well, I don't know if there's going to be much difference between the 2 teams. I thought Kent played very well against us, and then, of course, we were able to actually take a 1-point lead late in the game. But they were really, really much better than us down the stretch. The last 5 or 6 possessions both ways, they executed much better than we did, and consequently we weren't able to pull out the win. Like I said earlier, they're coming off a tough loss at Toledo. So, when they get home, they'll be ready to play, and they've got a potential Player of the Year candidate in Jimmy Hall, who always can settle the game down. They get the ball into him in the post, and he's terrific at being able to not only get his shot off, but understands how to maneuver in tight spaces. And so he's a good player. We've got our hands full with him. And then, of course, they've got the other guys, Edwin and those kids and all the rest of them with their athleticism. And most importantly, their ability to offensive rebound is second to none. They're number 1 in the country in offensive rebounding efficiency, which I think speaks to their mindset when the ball goes up in the air.
And then the week concludes with the game against Buffalo. Very hard-fought contest that we got at the end with by 1 point. Buffalo's won 4 in a row, though, so they're coming in really hot. You expect another good, tough matchup?
I would tell you that, if Buffalo takes a look at that game on tape, Nate, I think, that's a game that you feel you should have gotten, that slipped away from them. Now on our end, on our side of it, we were able to find a way to win, and I think we were down 15, if I remember, there in the second half, and we're able to finish the game out. But you hit it right on the head. They're playing best basketball right now in the conference, I would tell you, besides Akron, who's been consistent, obviously. But Buffalo poses a lot of challenges. I think they're big, they're strong, they're experienced, they've got quickness, they've got a group of guys that have experienced NCAA play. And quite frankly, if you sort of look at last year, which was a little bit later in the season, we beat them right before at their place on the way to almost right at the end of the year before MAC play started. But they were able to get going, and once they got going, I don't know if there was anyone that could really beat them. They were terrific in the MAC tournament, and I think that goes towards having been there before. And if you look at their schedule, I know their record isn't as good as it's been in the past couple of years, but if you look at the people they played early, they had a really, really challenging schedule. And then, of course, they lose their starting point guard who transfers. So it's been an adjustment for them, but boy, are they playing good, and they're a good team, and I really like their pieces. So I don't typically look ahead, but, we've got a rough week. We're going to spend a lot of time on the bus, so we ought to be able to get to know each other a little bit better.
All right, thank you, and good luck this week.
Thank you.